You weren't supposed to see me yet. Ha ha! Hi guys, welcome to Tardis Wiki Roulette, the show where we TARDIS a wiki roulette. Now let me just take a moment to explain how the premise works while all of you like the video. Pronto tonto. We should do that. We should do that right now. We should all like the video. Everybody like the video, and then I'll explain how the show works. So the way that the show works is, we take stuff from the TARDIS wiki, we put it on this very attractive wheel right here called Alan. Everyone say hello to Alan. And then we put the entries that are spun into the TARDIS wiki roulette. And then joy happens. Do you have an opinion on Stephen Molyneux? Do you mean Stefan Molyneux? Do you mean that guy? Do you mean that dude? Do you mean Stefan Molyneux? You mean that guy? Yes. Okay, oh, correct. We're not related as far as I'm aware. I'm not related to that particular Molyneux, no. I don't know anything about Stefan Molyneux. The only thing I've ever seen of Stefan Molyneux is that clip where he said that physicists should stop working on physics and make him a fucking iPod instead because they're a bunch of Big Bang Theory nerds that can't get laid, and therefore we should just abandon physics as a science. That's the only thing I've ever seen. So I don't know, I guess my opinion wouldn't be like positive. So you want me to add TV, Offal episode 1 and jailbait? Okay, based? I don't know anything about his beliefs. What does he believe in? Just tell me some of his beliefs and I'll say yes or no. Is he a libertarian? Is he one of those people? Is he one of those people that has weirdly strong and well-informed opinions about the age of consent? Is he one of those people? And by well-informed, I mean knows the age of consent in lots of states. You had a suggestion? Do I have all the suggestions? Let's find out before I start. Gevity has been updated. All right, I'll pop Gevity in there. I'll give tea. Give me tea right now. I want tea. Just look at his Wikipedia blurb. You know, it's funny, it's not the first time I've been asked if I'm related to Stefan Molyneux, but I've never, ever. Let's have a look. Wikipedia. Speaking of Wikipedia, actually, we're doing Wikipedia Roulette on Thursday, so that should be fun. Oh yeah, it has a dark mode, finally! Amazing. Time to get worse at reading. Movement, alright, so movement, far right, alt-right, identitarian movement, white nationalism, white supremacy. Anarcho-capitalism. Molyneux's voice.
The initiation of the use of force is immoral. Force in an extremity of self-defense is a regrettable necessity. It's morally fine. Initiating the use of force is absolutely immoral. Whether it takes the form of the state through control, regulation, taxation, the of children by putting them into these Pink Floyd brain-deadening, veal-fattening pens of disinformation and lack of concentration camps known as government schools, whether it's creating money out of thin air and raping and pillaging the savings and economic productivity of the working classes in particular and those on fixed incomes, it is absolutely brutal. Whether it is starting wars and generally taking that lower target toys scooped through the lower classes to send them off to be cannon fodder on the battlefield, whether it is foreign policy, whether it's sticking their
Jesus
every around the world and then inviting everyone in to commit acts of heinous terror in the homeland. All of the
Jesus, what a fucking lunatic. Oh my god. Sounds like a nerd. Michael Herber? Who's that? That was pretty bad though. I don't know, just based on what I just listened to, yeah, it doesn't really sound like I would like his stuff very much, to be honest. Add Interstellar Women's Day? Absolutely, I will add Interstellar Women's Day. What the fuck, though? Okay. Based? Did you say he's based? I did not say that he's based. No. Why does libertarianism always attract the biggest losers on the planet? Because it's a loser ideology. I don't know. I used to be a libertarian and I was a loser when I was. And now I'm a leftist and I'm cool as fuck. So, I mean, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Yeah, no, that was very cringe. That was very cringe. Librarians are cool. I don't think most librarians are libertarians. It would be a very hard square to circle, I think. You know, well, I mean, aside from the fact that you're literally, like, working as a state actor, like, I mean, books, man. What is an SMP? Is that a simp? Are you talking about simps, Naja fan? Is that what you mean? Add Ayn Rand and Atlas Shrugged? Of course I will. Of course I will. I'm more than happy to. I'm more than happy to. Okay. Why did you just censor the word sexy murder poet? Survival multiplayer. Oh, okay. Ryan, the word was too saucy for Tardis Wiki Roulette. I know. Naja Wing kinda sus. What happened to free speech? Yeah, I know. Well, I don't care. It's YouTube that cares. I don't give a fuck. Say what you want. As long as you don't say any slurs or creepy shit, and then, yeah, I'll come down on you like the wrath of fucking God. Multiple gods, in fact. A whole pantheon of gods. Which one depends on the mood I'm in at the moment. X is the home for free speech. Thank God for Elon Musk and his shitpost memes, eh? Oh, God. We should probably start. Free speech, not I want to say what I want without consequences. Yeah, no, absolutely. The way free speech actually works is, yeah, you have a right to say something fucking objectionable, but I have the right to tell you that it was fucking objectionable. And then you have the right to call me a snowflake, and I have the right to laugh at you. Ryan occasionally gets possessed by Khonshu. Every now and again. It's not like a frequent occurrence, but it's been known to happen, yes. Yes. As words are mightier than the sword. Yes, but words backed up by swords are mightier than words that don't have swords backing them up. False, the sword can make That is true. You can also write with a sword as well. Mod, strike this person down with the wrath of Zeus. No. They're being good. And this is the first time I've really seen them comment here, so we're being welcoming today. And if you're not welcoming, I'll fucking skin you. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. We got some new things to add to put on the wheel, which is good. You can also make the word sword the word words. That's true. That is also a very true fact. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. Hiya, Night Owl. How's it going? All right, let's spin the wheel. Yeah, baby. Boy bomb. Sonic the Hedgehog. What a start to proceedings. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Sonic the Hedgehog was a video game. Wow, that's unreadable. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Let me fix this really quickly. Let me make this less shit. There we go. Now it's a bit less shit. As I hate the what? I hate the isn't the left meant to be tolerant dog whistle shtick, as you know, the tolerance paradox. Yes. Yes, that is true. Sonic the Hedgehog was a video game. In 1989, Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart was aware that the titular character was a blue hedgehog. Mel Joseph played the game on his computer, completing the Scrap Brain Zone. Mickey Smith had a copy of the game on either his PlayStation or Xbox, along with Grand Theft Auto or Gran Turismo. Was Sonic even available on the PlayStation or Xbox back when Mickey Smith was a thing? What about that? What about that? Alright, let's take a look. Let's take a look at another one. Cyber Silurian! Now we're going to learn about this, I suppose. Mickey's favourite Age of Steel. Oh dear. I don't even know who Karl Popper is, Naja fan. I feel like you're yelling into the void a little bit. Are you okay, buddy? Are you doing okay? Doing okay? He's a bad philosopher of science? Okay. What did he say? I'm looking him up. I'm curing my ignorance right now. What did he say that you hate so much? Did he say that children deserve food or something objectionable like that? Okay. What did he say that you hate so much? Because all I'm seeing here is some old Austrian man. It's the relevant thing. No, politically he was conservative. Okay. Yeah, but you've called me right-wing before, and I'm pretty far to the left of you. So, you forgive me if I take that with a grain of salt. Like the stream if you hate the poor. Jesus. What are your thoughts on the tolerance paradox, Najawin? It's a good question. I said you internalize conservative talking points, not that you're conservative. I know, but we're doing patter right now. Why are we here to do the wheel or talk politics? That's the thing. That's the thing. I always just want to do the wheel, but then my boy comes in here all aggressive and shit, trying to make it about politics. No, I want to read about Cyber-Silurians. I'm completely with you, man. Cyber-Silurian. In an alternate timeline where the Cybermen used Time Lord resources to conquer all of history, Cyber-Silurian was the name given by the 11th Doctor. Among the alternatives, Cyberlurian, Cyber-Cylon, and Cyber-Reptilia, to a variant of Cybermen that were created through the cyber-conversion of Silurians on prehistoric Earth. Their purpose was to re-engineer Silurian arcs into cyber arcs that would seed the universe with cyber technology before humanity could begin to evolve. Hang on, but Cybermen come from humans, so wouldn't that create like a paradox? I suppose no, Mondas, yeah, no, that kind of works. Title, TardisWiki Roulette is just the title, not the premise. Oh, God. Bruh, what are you talking about, Najawin? You came into the chat looking for a fight with another chatter. Like, you came in confrontational. Like, come on. Come on. TardisWiki Wiki Roulette is the friends we made along the way. Alright. Here and now I didn't. Just hating on Karl Popper. No one knows who that is. The Cyber-Silurians were converted from Silurians that resembled the late Silurians, but with faces with bulging black eyes that no pupil and beak-like mouths, resembling the masks used by the late Silurian warriors who had more human-like faces. That's weird too. Like, why did they make masks based on another type of Silurian? It's very strange. It's very strange behavior from the Silurians. Karl Popper killed your dog. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Stop saying Karl Popper's stupid name. What if Karl Popper's in chat? What if I'm Karl Popper? Is Karl Popper in the room with us? Fucking hell. Basically, Ryan, Doctor Who writers love fan-wank to the point where it defies logic. Yeah, no, the idea of them fan-wanking this to try and make this make sense from, like, a lore perspective has basically destroyed the Silurians' world-building as a culture. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. This is why I unironically think that Doctor Who should have, like, a series Bible. I think Doctor Who should actually have some rules that, like, no, you can do whatever you want in terms of story ideas, but these things need to be thematically consistent. You don't even need to, like, have them make sense logically, like it's fucking Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever, but you at least need to have it be thematically consistent. I wish Joy to the World was set in the shared Earth from Cold Blood. I agree. Yeah, I think it would make the universe feel a lot deeper. I've talked about this before, Night Owl, how I would really like it if every time we go to the future in Doctor Who times, like, why aren't there just Silurians walking around like any other, like, person? Like, it's very weird to me that the future where humans and Silurians coexist peacefully is always never there. We never see it. You know what I mean? Doctor Who is allergic to world building. I don't agree. I just think that a lot of the people who write it don't want to put the work in to make it make sense. I literally think it's just laziness. Or ego. It's either laziness or ego. Because sometimes, and you can't say this isn't true, sometimes writers will just retcon other writers' stuff out of, like, spite. You know what I mean? But, like, yeah, even really basic stuff, like, I don't know, for an example, the main fucking villain's characterization can just 180 when a new writer takes over. And Doctor Who is always trying to, like, catch up to modern TV. Doctor Who is always trying to be, like, a bit like whatever's actually popular at the time. You know what I mean? Like the fucking pathetic attempts to replicate Bridgerton, to make it seem like Bridgerton is a big thing in, like, the new ones. Cough, master, cough. Yeah, no, that's what I meant. The master getting, like, ruined. Well, except for the Capaldi era. Yeah, because the Capaldi era is amazing and does a lot of the things that I say that the other eras should do. The Capaldi era makes the Doctor Who world feel like a fully realised and cohesive fictional world in a way that no other run does, except for maybe the Third Doctor era. which has a much smaller world to like play with because it's mostly Earthbound, but it's phenomenally consistent. Doctor Who does Succession when? Norms. I read recently how Hollywood has perfected the art of superficially critiquing capitalism without actually doing anything meaningful against it. And not gonna lie, Doctor Who feels like this with societal norms. Yes, it is. This is the thing, is like, it has to present itself as two things, because like, I'm gonna tell you this right now, the average member of the public is actually pretty damn progressive when you ask them what their views on different social things are. The average person is pretty based, okay? But like, society is not based. And so Doctor Who has this problem where it has to reflect the wants and feelings of society, because it's a fucking TV show. And most people in society, like, I don't know, they know climate change is real, and they know that we should probably do something about all of the billionaires. And they know that corporations are bad. But the BBC has to also use Doctor Who as a way of projecting soft power for the British state. And so as a result, Doctor Who always will lean back on defending the status quo as fiercely as possible. And the one time in Modern Who where it was an exception to that was the last season of the Peter Capaldi era, which was in a very unique position because Stephen Moffat knew he was leaving that season, and so was able to sign off on doing an episode where capitalism is explicitly the villain. I was never going to say Moffat was great at world building when he would invalidate his own decisions time after time. Capaldi era was guilty of this as well. I said it was better at world building, to be fair. I don't think it's great at world building. World building is not one of Stephen Moffat's strengths. However, an attempt was certainly made to make it all make sense. There's kind of two ways of doing it. There's the Moffat way of like trying to reconcile the fact that the modern show and the classic show are inherently contradictory to each other in terms of values, aesthetics, and artistic goals. And so he tried his best to kind of meet in the middle in a lot of senses. And then you have like the Russell T Davies method, where they create a very, very strong internal continuity, but in doing so ignore a lot of what came before. And that would be the like the RTD1 era. It seems like he's abandoned that for this new era, and I think that was a mistake. Again, the Monks arc just ruined it for me. A world invasion that gets written off as, yeah, people forget, lol. To be fair, that precedent was set in the RTD era with Donna Noble. But yes, extremism is also about living in a post-2016 world, wanting to kill yourself but rebelling against the system a little uselessly instead. Yes, that's true as well. To be fair, that's very realistic. It is very realistic, yes. Oh, extremists. Yes. Well, I think about, with extremists, I think it's more about, like, the fact that you have a moral obligation to resist tyranny. Even if you know you're going to lose and it's not going to end well for you, you still have a moral obligation to resist tyranny. I feel like that's what extremists is trying to get at. Personally, I think those all should have had one writer, that Monk trilogy. Think about how we've all just compartmentalized COVID. What are you talking about? I'm still insane from COVID. Look at me now. I'm hosting Tardis Wiki Roulette. Clearly something broke in my brain during COVID. Why can't Doctor Who just go, yeah, everyone knows about aliens and aren't surprised at all? My brother in Bahamut, do you have any idea how much I want Doctor Who to finally become a post-Masquerade series and be like, yeah, aliens are real, and now we have a world that has to react to aliens being real? Do a whole Doctor run just based on, like, the start of that. Well, to be fair there, what are we being fair about now? While you're typing up, I'm going to keep reading this. Well, to be fair there, I kind of am happy they haven't done that. Why? Unlike most species of Cybermen, the Silurians' converted states vary greatly between individuals. While some Silurians merely possessed a cybernetic implant on their faces and a small amount of cybernetic booty parts, others had a large proportion of their booties converted, and some even had a near-complete cybersuits, with a minimal amount of the original Silurian visible. The cybersuits of these Cyber-Silurians featured unique cyber helmets that resembled a Silurian's head. The rest of their cyber bodies somewhat resembled those of the Cybermen that invaded Gallifrey in this timeline, although they lacked much of the fine detailing that these Cybermen possessed on their booties. And the circular light on the chests of some Cyberlurians were... I'm going to just call them Cyberlurians now, because it's a better name. The 21st century is where everything changes. Because writers want to have audience surrogates, and that requires a holy shit aliens are real reveal for them. Does it though? Does it really? I don't know. I firmly think that the Doctor Who should be rooted in the real world, being analogous to us. You know what? Then they should come up with a cannon blaster for it. Then they should come up with a way to have it be that, yeah, these alien incursions that keep happening, yeah, time gets rewritten so they don't happen or something. Because the only alternative is that UNIT are amazing at their jobs, and I refuse to fucking accept that. That's more unbelievable than the aliens, the idea of the UN being competent. Oh yeah, Ruby reacted very strongly to the goblins. I've explained now, Ryan. Oh, in my area, I can write contemporary stories without having to worry about casual discussions of Daleks, Cybermen, Sycorax, the Rakdos, yada yada yada. That's fair. Everyone was on crack, see Series 5. That's a banger joke. That's an absolutely banger joke. Well, the problem is that it's set in this fictional country called the United Kingdom. Hard to identify with that. Oh, dear. Alright, let's take a look. Let's take a look. The UK is not real, guys. Alright, let's spin the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
Furries? Okay. Let's take a look at what TardisWiki Wiki has to say about furries. Who up uniting their kingdoms right now? We did this, but it's short. We can do it again. That's fine. The furry subculture was a cultural movement in Earth's history. Chris Schway considered the peak of its activity to be the glory days of humanity. Wonderful. Okay, let's go back to the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. We can't have one stream, man. Did Craig suggest this one by any chance? It's annoying though, as e.g. the Dalek invasion was undone from Earth's timeline, but then you've random characters like the Stolen Earth Milkman and Ruby in 72 Yards novelization who, for some reason, can remember the invasion. I joke, but it is true a lot of the default experience of Doctor Who doesn't quite translate to the US experience, something Epsilon and I had discussed in the TNORW thread. It's not that it's a problem they remember, but rather the inconsistencies with the setting. I think there should be a story where it's revealed that fixed points are not naturally occurring, but lynches on history by faction paradox to guide mainline history to what they want. I always assumed the Time Lords were doing that. I always assumed that was just what the mainstream Time Lords were like doing. Like, I always assumed that retroactively, once they knew the Doctor was going to be interfering in Earth history a lot, they just dotted Earth with fixed points in time to like restrict what the Doctor can do. Well, I strongly maintain the Time Lords were responsible. If they ever mention faction paradox in the main show, I will quit Doctor Who forever. You know what I would love to do? You know what I would love to do, Vishan Singh, if I was showrunner? I would mention faction paradox, but I would do it in a finale where the Doctor is asking for help and he goes, oh no, faction paradox, they're all dead. That's what I would do. That would be the first and last mention. And then be like, it doesn't matter, they're useless to us now. That's what I would do. I would hard canon that the moon is an egg as well. Faction Paradox died on the way back to Yes! Were they like bad guys, or am I misreading Wiki? I'm pretty sure they're bad guys. They're just also the protagonists of their own series, so it gets muddy. I haven't read the books either, it's fine. One simple train of thought is that if fixed points were completely fixed, pre-21st century Earth is invulnerable to any attack and the Doctor has no need to protect it. Well, here's the thing. What if the analogy you make, Xavier, how about this? How about this, okay? You can't... A fixed point in time is like a plant, okay? It's like a plant that you can't trim. However, you can dig it up out of the ground. So, like, you can't affect, you can't affect the destruction of Vesuvius. You can't affect Pompeii happening. However, you can take a nuke or whatever back in time to like before Pompeii and prevent the volcano from ever like erupting. You could do that. Faction paradox are basically Gallifrey's equivalent of coffee. The Eternals in Jason Aaron's Avengers run, that does not help me. Yes, they are. But that would change history, so... No, they're Manson cultists? Oh my god. They sound kind of metal. Alright, let's look up Bill Cosby on the TardisWiki Wiki now. There's nothing. I looked. There's nothing. It's a dry well, guys. Not a goddamn page.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. Oh, yay! This one again. We've talked already, I think, about how the Gunfighters gets the gunfight at the OK Corral completely wrong. Think of history as being one giant web and then you can move the strings around as you want, but some things, some intersections you can't move. Those are fixed points. Okay. But like, if you move the strings, don't the intersections change as well? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes. Yes, but also no. Some do, but not these. It's not a web then. It's like, it's almost like none of this makes any sense. What do you mean, how? Every change you make has to keep these fixed. I don't know, this all sounds kind of fictional. Yes, it does. It sounds like not only is this a magic system, but it's a magic system that trips up over itself constantly as well. Because like that was said before, I think by Xavier, like if there's so many fixed points in history, then there's no point in even trying to invade or do anything to Earth in any historical story. And all historical stories inherently have no stakes whatsoever, because like everything will be fine because the Titanic has to sink at some point, which means that a Titanic has to be built at some point. You know what I mean? How could Rosa Parks sitting on a bus be fixed if she became a not Silurian for a minute when Ruby stepped on a butterfly? Maybe the Silurians are racist too. That would be a really interesting Doctor Who story. Like, there's a fixed point in time, but they keep changing the circumstances that lead up to the fixed point in time, so the fixed point in time, like, changes. Fixed points exist to prevent gnarly ideas of let's avert the Holocaust while existing at odds with the otherwise temporal mutability of the show's temporal cosmology. That's why time being in flux and actually rewriting the future in Void Blood is really, really sick. Oh dear. Alright. So we already did Gunfight at the OK Corral as well. Dab. Dab, dab, dab.
Yeah, baby.
Alright. What? Magnameme Mil. Is this from one of your books? Is this from one of Xavier's books? Or Aristide's books? Or Cookie Boy's books? Personally, I prefer the idea that outside Hitler's birth hospital is a bunch of time travelers in a fist fight. Oh dear. The Inanem Magnanime Millets, or empty-hearted soldiers. Oh shit, no, I need to do this, right? Yep. The Inanem Magnanime Milites, or Hulk empty-hearted soldiers, were emotionless technosapien marauders from before the post-human era. They preserved themselves in warships resembling asteroids, which contained vast refrigerated suspended animation systems. They were one of the spiral politics' most militarily assertive human/cybernetic species. Litany Chromehurst was a prototype technosapien with silver skin. During an invasion of a minor world, a cyborg leader known as Pinocchio was infected with a faction paradox biodata virus and retroactively became one of the only renegades among its people. Pinocchio infiltrated an assault force with the intention of defecting to the faction. Into the post-human era, these emotionless militant cyborgs who forcibly converted other humans eventually became regarded as simply another post-human subspecies, some of them forming the Silversmith's coterie. So these are just Cybermen who like guns? Like, more? I have made one story that this site covers. Hopefully I'll do some spin-off thing other than that tomorrow. Based Cybermen? I think so, yes. Although no story has ever made the link explicit due to legal... Oh, they're legally safe Cybermen. Okay. Well, that's cool. Good on him. Okay. Let's spin the wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
Oh! Deef. Let's take a look at death. Fun fact, you're all going to die. Isn't that a fun fact? Anyway. Let's... Death was the cessation of life. The Ninth Doctor told Rose that everything dies. Every single death caused a tiny fracture in reality. What? Stupid. Wait a minute. If death is a natural part of life, why does every single death cause a tiny fracture in reality? Which is it? Which is it? It can't be both of those things. Surely, because like if death is that implies if it fractures reality, that implies it's something that's not supposed to happen. No, I'll live forever, the basilisk told me. And if anything, one of my biggest gripes with DW are the TTRPG books. Warping the Blinovitch limitation effect into a you can't do that timey-wimey thing at the expense of having fun. Reality was meant to be fractured. Because Clara was meant to live. Oh dear, we're all Claras at the end. Just make it a good one. Okay, in 2011, 300,000 people died on Earth every day. In 300,000 people died on Earth every day. Deaths were recorded by death certificates. In the dark times of the universe, death was unknown to Cosmos before the Kujiro began their campaign, dispensing death to the early planets. During the period of Gallifreyan history in which they were referred to themselves as the Space Lords, they knew of this new concept as the Ultimate. When the 10th Doctor found himself warring against the Kulturur and Andalia, he used a sample of their genetic material to reverse engineer their necrotic retrovirus and turn it against them, causing the Kulturur to quickly wither away. That's biological warfare there. 10th Doctor doing a cheeky little war crime for the lads. The Space Lords, what's this fan fiction? Might as well add Rupture. Alright, we'll add Rupture. Ryan, is biological warfare based? No, biological warfare is cringe. Biological warfare is what incels do. We don't do that here. We use bullets. like warriors. Classic 10. I did a kill count of every Doctor once. How'd that turn out? 10 incel confirmed? The fuck do you mean confirmed? Like it was ever in question? 10 was in the hundreds of millions. It's mental how disproportionate he is. I mean, he is the worst Doctor, so that does make sense. The eternal death was a personification of the concept. Kali was the Hindu goddess of death on Earth and later human colonies. The David Tennant, I was going to say, when I say Ted is the worst Doctor, I don't mean like quality-wise. He's great. I mean as a person. As isn't 14 worse? No, I mean as a person. I would say that 14 actually shows quite a lot of growth and maturity. 14 feels a lot more like a post-12 Doctor than 13 does. No, I like 14 quite a lot, actually. Your mileage may vary on his stories, but I like them, though. Except for the Giggle. The Giggle is shit. But the other two are good. But Ryan, the laws of time are his. Were they though? Is that how that one worked out? I don't think it is. 13 feels like I don't even Doctor. 13 feels like the Doctor. 13 feels like the Doctor when they're like renewed and refreshed and stuff. And like the 12th Doctor got to a point of like exhaustion and mental exhaustion where like they wanted to unalive themselves. You don't just pop back from that. I don't know. Fun fact I found about 10, I found a short story that he spent years searching for a single woman after he rewrote the timeline. You know, the same Doctor who has perhaps the highest number of appearances and lived for less than 5 years. That's the best retcon. You giving 10 a longer lifespan is the best retcon in Doctor Who, Xavier. I like that. I should go through and do a war crime count proportionally analysis for Doctor Who at some point. That seems funny. You do if you're Christian. I know, it's like the 13 is like, well, I was suicidal, but now I'm just a bit insecure and socially awkward, but I'm basically fine, you know. I'm basically fine. Technically wasn't a retcon that the story came out before his regeneration. I can't wait for some 17-year-old 13th Doctor fan to tell me they know more about trauma than I do. By the way. But my point is, 10's age does not add up and he lived longer than he said he did. Yeah, that's why I like your retcon. It makes more sense. Wait, he said he found it, not that he wrote it, meaning it's probably canon. Oh! It's probably canon anyway. Everything Xavier says is canon. I'd only accept the Geneva Conventions, not the cringe additional protocols. Now you're getting it. Oh dear. Okay. Almost all cultures had a concept of an afterlife, a belief that consciousness did not cease after death. When discussing the idea of a planet ruled by zombies, the Fourth Doctor remembered the quote that the living are just the dead on vacation. Voicing her observations on the human lifespan, which she found hilariously short, Missy stated that human beings were born dying, remarking, "You know from the minute you slop out, you're rotting, decaying." As arboretans exist partly outside of time, when one died, their consciousness travelled back to their birth and they lived their life over again, trying to fix the mistakes they had made until they had achieved the best life possible. They called this the path of perfection. That's pretty interesting. I did a count of every kill / cruel / unusual / punishment preventable death in the modern show. 12 has the least and Series 5 is the only series where the Doctor never hurts anyone except little Amy. Everything anyone says is canon. It just might be another universe or timeline. Yes, that's the best way of looking at it. That's very true. Little Amy emotionally, yes. In 2011, for several months following the Miracle Day, every human on Earth simply stopped dying. It was caused when the three families fed the immortal Jack Harkness's blood into the blessing, which in turn relayed the template to everyone on the planet in seconds. Death was restored when Jack's mortal blood was fed into the blessing and the original template was restored. All across the world, those who were unable to die yet should have died, including Geraint, Cooper, and a little girl, all took one final collective breath before dying. For them, the return of mortality was a mercy for them. In the case of others, like the mother and the cousin, who were responsible for the whole thing, it came back with a vengeance. LOAC is actually pretty nuanced. There are situations where you can slaughter quite a few people in horrific way. What the fuck are you talking about? I wish Doctor Who fan series would embrace the idea that it's set in a parallel universe and heavily subvert expectations and conventions. Me too. Me too. I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. I think far too many Doctor Who fan series use the show as a rulebook rather than a suggestion. I completely agree with that. Like, I'd be tempted to straight up kill off the Doctor and have someone take up the Doctor promise and become their successor. That would be really cool. I'd like to see that as a concept for like a fan Doctor. I think that would be a cool retroactive reveal to do about a character. I think that would be cool. Maybe then you should start watching the Answer Doctor series exclusively on something Blue Audio. Yeah, maybe you should. I think you'd like it. I think you'd like Doctor Who versus Godzilla. I think you'd like that one. That was a really good one. I need to. You do need to. You do need to. I'm interested to see what you think about my growth. Because I start out trying to, like, kind of replicate. I start out trying to, like, do a kind of a fusion of the classic series' pace and level of horrificness and the new series, like, kind of tone. And then eventually it kind of morphs into its own thing. The third season, Memento Mori, is the one I'm most proud of because I get to like get really, really weird with it. The Free Noras is also a really good one. I like that one a lot too. Different universe, different rules. Exactly. Nanobots puppeting the decaying corpse of the Doctor as it becomes a self-parody for all of his company. Oh dear. If regeneration is a thing, then why do you need to kill off the Doctor? Genuinely curious. From my perspective, I think it would be interesting to turn the Doctor into a legacy character because, like, if you look at the Stephen Moffat era and you look at just what level of responsibility and weight the Doctor's name carries, anyone who has to take up that name and live up to that, like, level of expectation, they're going to have a hell of a time doing that and a hell of a difficult time doing that. And inherently, that premise alone gives you tons of potential for character growth and, like, development. Yeah, I don't know. Like, regeneration is just recasting as if other companions kept taking the mantle. It'd be the same thing. Legacy heroes are great. I think it would be a really interesting, like, story. I genuinely do. I don't think the main show could ever do it, obviously, because, I mean, it's the Doctor. You can't replace them. You know what I mean? The Doctor is the same character no matter regeneration. Yes, they are. And that's why I'm saying a different character taking up that title has so much potential for, like, different kinds of storytelling and shit. Especially because, like, you actually think about how powerful the Doctor is. Like, how much the Doctor is capable of. You take someone who hasn't learned that yet and you face them up against the same caliber of threats. Like, imagine what happens when a Doctor that isn't the Doctor, but is someone taking up that legacy and has to live up to that level. Imagine what happens when they fight the Daleks or the Master for the first time. That's a really interesting, fresh look at those kinds of confrontations. I'd like to see someone, an ordinary human, take up the Doctor's promise, but doesn't have their basically magic powers, and as a consequence seriously fucks up. Yeah, it would be super interesting. It would be super interesting. And then, I tell you what, Xavier, you make regeneration and the ability to regenerate, you make that Excalibur. You make that the thing they have to earn on their journey. And then you can decide whether they get that or they decide they don't need it anymore based on whether or not you want the series to continue. And then if you want it to keep going on forever, you can have a main character who's a human who can regenerate. But then, if you don't want to do that, you can just end it right there and then. What if 12 legit unalived himself and we follow Clara afterwards? It'd be really interesting. Would they even have the same core villains? Daleks, sure, but Master and Cybermen? I would have the big three Doctor Who villains have a presence in the world, because it would be really interesting to see how they would react to this new reality. But no, I think you would need to do original villains for this. And I think that outside of the big three, the big Doctor Who villain pot has kind of run a little bit dry. Which is why I made up an original villain for the Answer Doctor series. The main villains in the Answer Doctor series are originals. For that exact reason. Would they even have the same core villains? Yes, but it'd be different. You know what I mean? You need original people. I think it would be really interesting, though. I think that there could be, there's lots of storytelling. Like, especially because, like, if there's this Doctor who's not the Doctor, but they're a human, and they land on Earth in the middle of a modern day alien invasion, do you still make them the president of the Earth? Do you still give them that level of responsibility? I do the Cybermen differently, more just humans with extensive cyborg upgrades without becoming the scary robots the show often shows them as. I think it would be really interesting to just have a faction of Cybermen that are good guys. I think it would be really interesting. And it would add a lot to the Cybermen as a concept. Like, is it always a negative thing? If Cybermen are inevitable, does it have to be like a bad thing? Or like a story where it's a group of colonists whose only chance of survival is to use the cyber conversion machine. Yeah. So the first season finale of the Answer Doctor Adventures is a Cyberman story, and it's about the Cybermen, a bunch of defective ones from Mondas, and the defect is that they're human, basically. Like, they have emotions, they have wants and hopes and dreams, but the Doctor, upon meeting them, because this Doctor is very old and tired and angry and bitter, he's like, no, fuck you, you're Cybermen, I'm gonna genocide you anyway. And the whole story is about the Doctor having internal biases to these aliens because he fights them so much, and it ends up ending horribly because he wasn't willing to, like, see them as people. That's the first season finale of the Answer Doctor adventures. It's about how Doctor Who is inherently racist as a character. Just check it out. Into the Dalek. Into the Dalek. The problem I have with that one is that a good Dalek is just a Dalek whose genocidal hatred has been turned on other Daleks. That's not the same thing as being good. Yeah, for sure. He is. And it's something that I try and deconstruct and look at quite a lot with my incarnation of the Doctor. Like if you would go into the Dalek, maybe in like a sexy way. Anyway, the Ashtalans, a race of immortals gifted with prodigious healing, had no concept of death until they met the first Doctor and his companion. like. On her Facebook profile, Missy, formerly the Master, acknowledged that she had first died 13 times before taking over some bloke's body. In fact, the decayed Master, who claimed to be nearing the end of his 12th regeneration, had acquired a new body in the Trakanite Tremas. I tell you what, I want to say something. When me and Felicia rewatched Classic Who, the a new body reveal, the end of the Keeper of Traken, where the Master takes the guy's body, takes Tremas's body. That's incredible. That's such a good reveal. Ryan, will you please tell me what you think of my fanfic idea? What's your fanfic idea? My timeless child fanfic was the Doctor finding out that regeneration was the result of immoral experimentation on an innocent child, so the Doctor gives up the ability and that's the status quo. That would have been sick. That would have been really cool. That would have been really good. I think what they should have done, Stephen Moffat should have done this, and it should have been the canon from this point forward. The Doctor got given a new regeneration cycle at Trenzalore, but he doesn't know how many regenerations they have. So anytime they regenerate might be the last time they ever regenerate. Like, they don't know whether they have infinite new lives or one new life. I would have had that be the status quo going forward. Doctor Who is also allergic to status quo changes. I know. I mean, that's literally said in Hellbent. Yeah, but it's just said, and then they don't do anything with it. And the implication in Hellbent is, we gave you infinite regenerations. It's not your next regeneration could be the last. They don't give the Doctor an arc where they fucking are terrified of the prospect that they might actually finally die this time, and come to accept that and learn to carpe diem. That is not what happens in the 12th Doctor era. I think Kill Moon that said, yeah, he says I might just go on regenerating to get forever. And he says that as a fucking threat as well. They should have leaned more on that though. Yeah, they should have leaned more on it. And it shouldn't be like a couple of throwaway lines. It should be a core part of this Doctor's whole, like, life and journey. But 12 was suicidal, he didn't care. Yeah, towards the end of his life. Yeah, but not during the beginning, not during the middle, and certainly not for most of the third chapter of his life. He wasn't suicidal when he was, like, teaching Bill. He wasn't when he was, like, concerned about Clara. With Daleks, I find their unreasonable hatred personified a little too illogical. That's interesting. It's interesting. I think he was suicidal post-Oxygen. Me too. I think that's when it really started to creep in. I think those tendencies really started there, and I think that it really manifested themselves once Bill got cyber converted. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, capitalism does that to you. True. This is a long page. Terry Lover thought that they were going to die when on the London Eye, when the Nestine consciousness activated it. Mickey Smith thought that Clive Finch had tirelessly dedicated his life to searching for the truth about the Doctor, with his reward being death. After the Slovene craft crashed into the River Thames on 6th of March 2006, Mickey, going by MX, was ecstatic about his and Clive's suspicions about the Ninth Doctor, that wherever he went, danger and death followed, was going to be finally revealed. After Rose Tyler broke into the TARDIS and looked into its heart and returned to the Ninth Doctor at the game station, Rose didn't contact Mickey or Jackie, leading Mickey to believe she had died. Maybe because of the stress, because of Missy's life being directly in the hands for so many decades. Daleks who had other motives could clearly bring in more ideas and nuance. I'll tell you what I would like to do with the Daleks. There's two things I would like to do with the Daleks. I don't know how you would feel about this, but the main thing I would like to do is, if Daleks are meant to be Nazis, then let's give them some of the weird quirks ideologically that Nazis had. A really good one, I think. I want the Daleks to have, like, a weird ancient aliens thing. I want the Daleks to have some pre-Khaled and Thal society that maybe didn't even exist, that they, like, idolize. You know, like the Nazis idolize the Roman Empire and Vikings and stuff. I would like to add that in. A Dalek tomb raid. Ryan, are you an ancient alien? Yes. What I would also really like is, this is an idea that I've had boiling around for a little while, and I might end up making a fan series around this premise, but, so, like, you know how Daleks, you know how sometimes when they're really desperate, the Daleks will take humans and, like, use their genetic material to make new Daleks? You know how that's a thing they do sometimes after the Time War? Okay, so theoretically, that means that any human of any like ancestral line could be converted into a Dalek. Okay? So, like, does that mean, hypothetically, and this would work thematically as well, okay? Does that mean, hypothetically, a Dalek could become a Wolf of Femric? That's what I would like to know. If a human with the Femric bloodline was converted into a Dalek, or converted even into many Daleks, what would happen there? Dalek is an ideology, not a species. I like that. I like that a lot. You could be a Dalek. That's why Steven made Dalek puppets. Do you know, there's one of my favourite Answer Doctor lines is in the Dalek episode we do, which is Predator of the Daleks, which is Torchwood, who are a far-right neo-Nazi organisation in the Answer Doctor universe. Torchwood have a Dalek that they've like captured and stuff, and the Dalek predictably goes loose and starts killing them. And Nora, the Doctor's stalwart companion, is like, well, you're not trying very hard to save them, Doctor. And the Doctor is just like, Nora, they're Nazis. They're just fleshy Daleks. That's one of my favourite lines. That's how the Doctor views Nazis. They're just fleshy Daleks to him. That's my favourite thing I've done. Except for killing off J.K. Rowling. That was pretty good as well. That's great. Thank you. Let's watch the Answer Doctor adventures. What? See? Imagine Doctor Who fan films, but with good writing. By someone who understands these characters. Good old JK. Yeah, so in Doctor Who versus Godzilla, the basic plot is that because of a timey-wimey thing that happened earlier that I won't spoil because you need to watch my fucking show, the land of fiction has basically opened up over Earth, and so there's fictional characters running around, and Godzilla is one of them, okay? So, basically, the US military, in an attempt to counter Godzilla, has started forcibly recruiting and press ganging fictional characters into the military, okay? And the gag is that one of the fictional characters that they've black bagged is J.K. Rowling, because they don't know that she's a real person. They think she's a fictional character. And the Doctor is about to correct this instinctively, and Nora is like, no. Basically. Godzilla's not fictional. Doctor Who is, though. What's the first story of yours I should listen to / watch? I would say our 60th Times Champions, or honestly Doctor Who versus Godzilla, is a really good introduction to what we're all about. But if you want like the story arc, and there is a story arc, there is like a long form story arc throughout all of these, just start at Interloper, start at episode 1 of it. Now the production is very rough in those early ones, but the spirit is still there. Ryan, that story sounds fun. Might have to actually watch it. I did also canonically burn Kablam to the ground. That's another thing that Answer Doctor has done. Doctor Who actually escaped into the real Godzilla universe. Oh dear. Let's see. Story idea: the Doctor lands in the land of fiction, and one of the characters is himself. That leads him to have an existential crisis on whether he's real or not. Unironically, that's a thing I've had in the works for years. There's a fan Doctor called the Groovy Doctor, and his deal is he's the Doctor, but he's Deadpool. Basically, like, he's aware that he's a fictional character, and they usually play it for, like, jokes. It's pretty good. It's made by my friend JTE Rhodes. I would also recommend that. But I wanted to do a story where the Answer Doctor meets this Doctor who's aware that he's a fictional character, and basically reacts to it the same way that Animal Man did, and has, like, a horrible existential breakdown about it. Yeah, all of this isn't real. Reminds me of that time the Doctor went into the real world. We should go back for another wheel spin. But yeah, check out the Answer Doctor adventures. This whole thing has just been a long plug for that. Watch Interloper. That one's pretty good. I defeat Arutan by giving it COVID. I'm not joking. That is actually what happens. The 12th Doctor has access to hammer space. That's true. That's true. There's a Sontaran Rutan War episode. We bring the Sontarans and the Rutans and have them fight. That's pretty good. And I will say that the guy who plays our incarnation of the Master is fucking magnificent as well. And you should check it out just for him. He's amazing. Anyway, Ghostwatch has a wiki page. Oh yeah, I fucking love Ghostwatch. Ryan, can you send me links to the episodes on Discord? Yes, I will send you links to the episodes on Discord. I will do that after I come off stream. I would love to. I would love to. I will send you my first episode and 2 that I'm particularly proud of that you can check out. Is he better than Sacha Dhawan? Honestly, I'd say he's on a similar level. He's definitely like the best actor in the main show. Like, we got him, and I only played the Doctor in it because this is another thing too. I think I'm the only person who plays the Doctor in one of these fan series who doesn't want to be the Doctor, because I only did it because Felicia convinced me to do it. And then when he sent in his audition, I was like, fuck, I need to get really good at this now. If he's on a similar level, he's not that good. Nah, Sacha Dhawan is fucking great as the Master. He's just given shitty material, but he's really good. He understood the assignment and nailed it. Don't add Ghostwatch yet, though. I need to rewrite that page eventually. Okay. Well, you tell me when you want Ghostwatch added, okay? And then I'll add it. We'll do that, Xavier. Okay. Let's spin the wheel. Oop.
Yeah, baby.
It's happening off screen. You can't see it, but it's happening, people. prostate. Lads in the chat, make sure to get your prostates checked. It's important. No promposal today, Xavier. I'm sorry. Not many wheel spins. Was this to counteract the amount of type wheel spins we had last time? Honestly, we just had some interesting talks this time, I think. We just had some nice, interesting chats. And so we ended up not spinning the wheel as many times. But, you know, it was still a success of an episode. Isn't there a doctor who doesn't have a prostate? None of the doctors have prostates. None of the doctors have prostates, canonically. He is a well-executed version of his master when he plays Davos in Iron Fist. Ryan, are you pro-state? While staying at the Bidawee guest house in Keelmouth, the first doctor one morning raced downstairs for a breakfast as fast as his aged legs could take him, considering himself lucky he didn't have a prostate. Who wrote, Anthony Keach, you are a legend, my friend. That looks like the sort of person who would make the doctor not have a prostate, to be fair. It's one, the first doctor has no prostate. Hang on. Does that imply that 13 and the fugitive doctor do? Does that imply that the 13th doctor has a prostate? I'm completely serious. Sasha Dewan plays someone called Davos before become... I mean, does that imply anything? Yes, it does. I mean, she could, I guess. One just doesn't have one. Well, because they said that one was the doctor who doesn't have a prostate, implying that all of the others do, including 13 and Fugitive. He was also in Sherlock, Ryan's favourite show. Yes, he played one of those dumb mercenaries in that dumb story. That's true. Thank you for reminding me. He was in Stephen Moffat's Dracula as well. He was in that. He was really good in that. He's really good in, like, everything he's in. I don't know. Fuck. I hated Dracula. I can see why someone would hate Dracula. I just really liked it. But I'm not going to sit here and act like you're wrong if you didn't like it. You're completely within your rights to hate it. Felt like Dracula is a shitty slasher movie. I tell you what, I don't agree with you, but I will give benefit to your point there. A lot of the lighting in the Dracula show is very slasher movie-esque. It's very true. It's a very good point, actually. But I love it. We have looked at this, yes. The War was a novel Lawrence Miles pitched to the BBC Past Doctor Adventures range on a few days after the 12th of March 1999 debut of The Curse of Fatal Death. It would have featured Joanna Lumley's 13th Doctor. As BBC Worldwide retained the merchandising rights for countless old TV shows from the 1970s and 1980s, mainly sitcoms, Miles planned to feature many old BBC characters in the context of the War in Heaven. When histories come unstuck and all these alternate histories are overlapping, the mechanism would have preserved the ambiguity of, in Miles's words, whether the 13th Doctor is canonical or not. Several elements of the story, including the War in Heaven and the Shift, were previously featured in Miles' 1997 novel Alien Bodies. Despite being formulated within only a few days after The Curse of Fatal Death, The War was the second 13th Doctor novel pitched to range art editor Stephen Cole. The first being proposed by David A. McEntee. Miles never even received a reply to his email and later speculated that Cole had mistaken his pitch for a joke. It wasn't just the lighting, it was a lot of the creative choices. Dracula is a very rich novel using the source material. To just do a generic Dracula uses plot armor to quit while he kills was weird. Yeah. Yeah. When is the shift going to show up in the answer, Doctor? Let me see what he is. Who's the shift again? What? Oh. What the hell is this? Click on shift. I am. The shift was a Gabrieldian soldier who was transformed into a shift by an enemy. What is a shift? Shifts were a type of conceptual entity first developed by the Celestis shortly after the creation of Mictlan, but eventually used by various groups in the outside universe, notably including the enemy. To create a shift, a sentient life form had to be placed in the stable state of flux until it existed only as a series of mimetic connections, preserving the meaning of this being without any of its mass. As a result, the resultant shift could only exist as a series of disembodied ideas, but it could implant itself into any object that could carry information. Okay. What if the shift is TARDIS Wiki? Is this shift posting? So, I don't get it. Because I'm stupid. The shift is so cool, man. It talks through the prose. It's a conceptual entity that edits with information. So it's like a wiki editor, basically. The prose is sometimes the shift's dialogue. It sneaks into the prose. So if I were to do a Doctor Who story where the shift is the monster, the idea is that the story is the monster. Is that the idea? Flipper looks like a funny page. Flapper? Yeah. The monster is... No? Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Can you add New Zealand? Of course I can add New Zealand. Like, go on, explain it. Widen my mind spaces. I'd like to do a first-person Doctor Who story. There aren't enough of those. I think it would be pretty interesting. I think it would be really hard to write from the Doctor's, like, internal POV, though. I am Night Owl. In that sentence, the shift would be the word am, like it only exists in prose. Naja would explain better. You'd think. Anyone's globe got another New Zealand on it suddenly. To be honest, I like the Doctor being mysterious. Me too. Me too. That's my issue with having their internal monologue is like, you lose the mystery of who he is. You lose the who in Doctor Who a little bit. Like, we can't tell you if the Doctor has a room or sleeps because of mystery, then how the fuck are you going to do a first-person POV? Alright, let's spin the wheel. One more time. One more time for the lols. Oh no, we did this one already. It's a conceptual entity, so it exists not physically, but only at a conceptual level. Okay. The Morbius Doctors, we'll take a look at this. As long as it's not too long, which it probably is. But it edits information. Ah, like my uncle. Then how do you know it's there? I'm gonna, what are you gonna do? Well, this one doesn't have any fucking titles, so... Boom! Again! I thought it was Marvel's Morbius. God, remember Morbius? Shove! Wait, I forgot to get rid of it. It's going to pop up again at some point. So it will edit prose, audio, visuals, etc. to express itself. Okay, now I understand. Now I get what you're saying. Okay. And the shift, are they generally helpful or harmful? What are we talking here? A shove was a forceful, if not overly violent act of pushing something such as another person's body. Shoving could be done as a social cue, just dignifying displeasure with the shoved party. Or shoving could be a practical measure to get an inanimate object such as a dead body to where one wanted to go if it was too big to carry easily. Yasmin Khan angrily shoved the 13th Doctor after she reappeared in Graham O'Brien's living room with casual cheerfulness, seemingly heedless of the fact that she had been out of Team TARDIS's lives for months, and Yaz had been worried sick. Jack Harkness observed their hostility. When he confronted her on her conflicted feelings regarding the Doctor, Yaz tried to retort that he was guessing a lot from a shove, although she was forced to admit his reading of the act was accurate. When explaining how to deal with a corpse of a waiter who had tried to kill the group before committing suicide with a poison pill, Yasmin Khan suggested to Dan Lewis and Eustachius Jericho that they shove the body overboard come nightfall when it would be quiet. By one account, the final part of Yasmin Khan's tips for getting rid of a dead body was to wait until dark and throw the body overboard. Well, there we go. There we go. It's just an article about that one time that Yaz did a domestic abuse on the Doctor. Did you know that 40% of cops, you know the joke, Google 40% of cops. The Doctor reads a newspaper and it says in today's weather is, hello Doctor, that's how it talks. Oh, okay. Does all information we have on shoving come from Yaz? Yes. 40% admit it, yeah. 40% are stupid enough to tick yes. That's true. That is true. Okay, I think we're about ready to wind down tonight's show. It's been a wonderful time with all of you, and I will be back on Thursday for Wikipedia Roulette, our first one of those, so that should be exciting. Yes on what? 40% of police officers beat their wives. That's the thing. 40% of police officers, when asked if they beat their wives, ticked yes. That's the joke. Anyway, apparently Yaz is part of that 40%. This has been TARDIS Wiki Roulette. I have been your host. This has been your co-host, Alan. And we have had a lovely time. We hope you've had a lovely time. I will be on Twitch at Wild Magic tonight doing Bioshock 2. So that should be good. And then tomorrow I will also be on Twitch either doing more Bioshock 2 or maybe trying New Vegas again. We'll see. See you guys soon. I will send you that link, Xavier. All right, everyone, have a wonderful, lovely rest of your time. Maybe I'll see some of you later. Maybe I won't. And, yeah, boy, Thursday Undertale, that's true. Bye!